What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. We're coming at you live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I want to see some biceps in the chat. How is everyone doing today? It's my birthday, so I slept in a little bit to give myself a little bit of that secret sauce. But we got a lot to talk about today. If you've been around this channel, we've had KG on about 4 or 5 times. And I'm just going to go through whatever KG wants to go through today because I know Internet Money is live on Ethereum, and I'm not going to front like I've been paying super attention. I've been going through a lot of stuff, so I haven't been super locked in. But we have the man, the myth, the legend, KG in the house. I met him in Vegas, and he is just as nice and open and as willing as it makes as the team of Internet Money is. You know, Internet Money is all about giving the holders the best experience possible. He says it over and over and over again. And I think he's trying his darn best to give everyone the best experience. And we all know that a replacement to MetaMask is exactly what this world needs. And now we're talking about Pulse Chain. Everyone's getting excited about the Hex pumps. Guys, my bags. And I'm so friggin' stoked on it. I hope everyone is doing good. Let's get right to the Crypto in the Morning song. Thank you, DeFi Proof. Whoops.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on pause. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on pause. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
What's up, KG? And I just wanted to say happy birthday to GRC. Appreciate you, bro. Continue making those little bits of progress every day, and you'll be astonished at how far you grow as a person and the character of who you are over the coming days, weeks, and months and years. You'll be astonished at how quickly you grow, even though that the little step you make today feels so microscopically small, like you didn't make progress. The aggregation of those marginal gains over time is tremendous. So kudos to you.
Dude, that means a lot that you say that, and that's how it feels sometimes. You're like, when you're all in your own thing, it seems like, and then you just take a step back and you're like, am I even getting anything done? But you are. And if you keep writing down all your goals and you keep asking for help and you keep moving forward, there's a lot of guys all over Twitter, and they really spend most of their days, talking crap about people. And those are the people you look at and you say, those guys' goals will not get accomplished, period. What the hell? 200 PNW. Happy. This is, dude, I'm not, come on. I got to show it, dude. You're going to make me all upset. Thank you so much.
We came for the tears.
It means a lot to me for people to even care or watch or think about this show. I put in a lot of effort into this. I'm not always right. I'm not always perfect. And I appreciate you so much, PNW. Thank you so much. Wow, the chats are rolling in hot. Thank you guys so much. Duke of Booze, Christian, all these guys have been with me since day one. Don, good to see you. You know my dad's name is Don, and so is KG's dad's name is Don. And great episode. I would love to have Don on again next time you come on. But let's get straight to brass tacks again. I'll leave this one up because let's go. But
leave it up.
So look at this, guys. Look at this. Internet Money, they're lazy guys. They don't do anything, right? They just sit around, put their finger up their butt. No, let's see what they got. Breaking: Internet Money just launched on Ethereum. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, sounds good.
No, is there any noise from upstairs?
No.
Just
Okay,
barely.
cool. Internet Money just launched on Ethereum. You held IM on BSC. You just got a free airdrop. Here's the contract address, guys. I'll drop this in here in case any of you guys have been out of the loop. So you want to let's start there. Let's start there and say what is going on with Internet Money? I know your sleep schedule has been all over the place. Please, please, please let me know what's going on.
So, first of all, happy birthday, brother. So proud of you for all you've been doing on your sobriety journey and just staying focused. Totally agree with Sam. I like to use the Mario analogy. He doesn't jump to the top of the flagpole from the ground. He's got to climb the steps. That's the only way to get to the top. And yeah, shout out PNW. But as far as Internet Money on Ethereum, yeah, you read that we launched on Binance actually at the end of 2021 now. So we've been a live mainnet project for over a year. And if you held Internet Money on Binance, you got a 1-to-1 airdrop of Internet Money on Ethereum. So that was actually really cool. You know, you guys liking charts and stuff in real time within 24 hours, we saw the two tokens work towards price parity. Bing. And then they were literally at the same price. And then part of the good news and the reason I was up so late, like 5 a.m. last night, was I just started up an impromptu voice chat in our Telegram. We were just chatting away and someone comes in and it was like, hey, I saw you, I found you guys on CoinGecko. So we had just gotten listed on CoinGecko, which we have been working on for the whole time. And we've actually been rejected 4 or 5 times. So yeah. So like literally we didn't even know what happened. He was just like, hey, I saw you got listed literally 1 minute ago. And then, whoa. And then just turned into like this all night, like, oh my gosh, because now you can see Internet Money price in MetaMask, which you haven't been able to do. We got listed on our first exchange. It's some small exchange, but like all of a sudden we launched on Ethereum and all these crazy things are just happening. So there's a lot of, we're on Trading View now, which we haven't been on Trading View, so it's like we're now on more legitimate charting systems. And it's like the project is just getting more and more into these like legitimate systems in the crypto space. So it was a very bullish night.
I feel amazing that you did all those little steps, like you said, with Mario. And then you probably felt like you were beating your head against the wall half the time. And then you go to sleep one day, you wake up and bam. And Sam, what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
What can you let's just start at zero real quick, just so people can understand what Internet Money is and where you guys are as a project, what your ethos is in terms of what you're trying to accomplish and stuff like that. And then let's get into some more of those exciting updates.
Sure. So the core of what we're building is a multi-chain EVM wallet. And for those who aren't familiar with that mumbo jumbo, that is, if you've ever used MetaMask, that MetaMask is a multi-chain EVM wallet. So our wallet, the Internet Money wallet, that's the core of the technology. Now we are the first tokenized crypto wallet of its kind. IM is one of those tokens associated with the wallet, but the core of the tokenization, if you will, is our token that's coming soon called Internet Money Wallet Dividend, or WD. And if you don't know out there, if you ever do a swap from one crypto to another in a crypto wallet, you're paying a fee. Now, all other crypto wallets that currently exist, 100% of that fee goes back to the creators of the wallet, which is fine. They deserve to get paid for their work. But it's not the same ethos we believe in. 100% of our fees get redistributed to the holders of our token, WD. So just by holding this token, you're earning passive income in the form of the blockchain's native coin. So if you're holding WD on Ethereum, you're earning passive income in the form of ETH. If you're holding it on Pulse Chain, you're earning passive income in the form of Pulse. There's no staking, there's no taxes, there's no reflections. So that is representative of, we want to create a system that is, it takes as many steps away from people as possible. We want things to be user friendly. We want a good user experience. And regardless if you're day one in crypto or you're an OG, we want to provide value and relevancy for your skill level.
And so you're going to have the WD, Binance version, the WD Polygon, the WD, Pulse, in future iterative processes where people can earn the native gas token by just holding it. They don't have to stake it like everywhere else. You just hold this, and then once a month or so often you can go claim, or however often you want to, you can go claim
Every block. Yep.
That's awesome.
So, okay, so everyone calls everyone that does a swap on MetaMask total pleb, total noob, right? You know, they say they do that whole like, you're a noob, you don't know anything. But a lot of people still go through and do it. I have not done that in a long time, but in the beginning of my journey, I definitely did that because I didn't know any difference and I didn't read the rates for anything.
Sure.
So you're saying now, is there a better incentive as far as trading on there too? Like as far as the rates, like I know people say you get really raked over the coals, but now everyone that does it, well, why wouldn't they just go over to the DEX to get their best deal?
Well, you won't pay. So when you use a in-wallet swap, whether it's internet money, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, whatever, you're going to pay a fee that you would not incur if you went to the DEX directly. That is true. Now, it's kind of the same question of why do you buy milk from the gas station? Well, it's convenient. It's easy. And you do pay a premium. So like MetaMask, people say, so in the Hex and Pulse Chain community, I think we get very insulated from the reality of what happens out there. And the reality is every day, MetaMask alone makes $95,000 to $2 million a day in fees. That means that much volume is still going through that one wallet alone because it's what's easy. People, not everybody is out there connecting to DEXs. But not that we're not going to teach people. We fully believe in education. If you want to go to the DEX directly, here's how you do it. But convenience has a price and a value.
And people that get into crypto for the first time usually do that for 6 months to a year. If
Absolutely.
not forever, I might just be insulated, like you said. Like I might just have too many guys that are extremely good at this teaching me how to do things. And they're like, you have to do this.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky.
And so you're saying as 90% of the world gets adopted into crypto, many of them, those numbers on MetaMask are insane, by the way. Insane. Like,
yeah.
Why has no one else done this, in your opinion, or really gone at MetaMask as the next EVM wallet that everyone knows? I know there's other EVM wallets that are compatible with stuff, I'm sure. But do you think anyone's really given it hell and tried to go at it all the way to make it for the best for the user, the best for everyone? Because everyone seems to just be okay with MetaMask on EVM.
I think there are. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say every wallet in existence sucks. I'd be lying to you. No, there's some really cool wallets doing some really cool things out there. But I think another thing that a lot of wallets do wrong is there's like this new ethos in the wallet space of let's support every chain out there. And so all these brand new wallets, it's a really cool technology. You create one seed and now all of a sudden you have a Bitcoin wallet and a Cardano wallet and an EVM wallet. And that's like the way wallets are going, which is really cool. But look at what MetaMask did. They niched down on EVM and they're the number one wallet in the world. So it's like, I think that people are spreading themselves too thin. And instead of focusing on making really cool features for the EVM chains, they're like kind of struggling to make cool. It's like to be everywhere is to be nowhere. They're focusing on too wide of a range. And we're also in a unique position as well, where we were able to build a community because of this unique ecosystem that we have found ourselves in going into it. So I think that by niching to the EVMs, going into it with a strong community, I think we're in a much better position to win.
I agree with that because when you take that broad approach and you ask somebody who has some type of product and or service business and you're like, hey, who is your like ideal customer, right? Because like I might ask friends this because I would like to send customers their way, right? Instead of sending them to some other business that I don't know, I'd rather send them to somebody that I trust. And they're like, well, we serve pretty much anybody. And like when you get a wallet or something like that pretty much serves anybody, you kind of don't really serve anybody, right? You serve everybody, but you kind of really don't. It's like, who is your avatar? Who is the customer that you're gonna serve? And the other stuff can come after the fact, right? Like there's the Apple came out with their like, I don't know, the higher end watch, right? And it's not applicable to 99.9% of people because it's for like people who swim like at extremes or like people who go to, you know, extremes in temperature, like cold wise and things like this. It's not applicable to anybody in the normal sphere of the planet. And yet because of that, because they're like, we chose ultimate sea people or the hardcore, you know, person who wants to spend a time out in the wilderness when it's sub-0 degrees outside and the watch is still going to work and track these vital heart things or whatever for your body. Because it's serving those people, other people think, oh wow, they're serving that community so well, that specific avatar of that user so well. I wonder how that'll serve me. And you're able to pull in more people with that. And you see this play out over and over and over again. So I really like that strategy. Because you can always expand to other shit into the future.
Exactly.
What about, so I have several different types of wallets, but one of them is a Coinbase commerce wallet for one of my businesses. And in the wallet, I'm able to see my tokens, the coins from all different blockchains in one view. And I was like,
nice.
That's nice. Do you have any thoughts on that, or the ability to, even if it's just EVM, even if it's just, you know, Binance and Ethereum, right? And you open your wallet and you know, some of them are coded yellowish or something or whatever. So if they care, right? But you get to see like, oh, there's these three tokens. I have, you know, BNBP and BSC or something like that. And these are all Binance ones. And then the other ones are on Ethereum, right? Like I'm like, I don't use the wallet other than for business, but I'm like, that should be on like all of these, you know what I mean? Or like when you said where you create one seed. Can you talk about some of these things? Like that
yeah, so there's actually a wallet that we look to for that feature, and it's a wallet called Zerion. And I think they have one of the cleanest read-only modes that I've seen in any wallet. Woo, there he is. I think they have one of the cleanest read-only modes I've ever seen in a wallet. And it does, they don't support every chain, and you know, they don't support every chain, but they support, like, I think they support Ethereum, Polygon, Binance. There's like 5 or 6 EVMs. But what's really cool is that, like you said, they cleanly propagate in your portfolio. And what's cooler too is when you add the address, you can either add it as your watch list, so just you can watch the portfolio there, and then you could also add it as your portfolio. So for the addresses that you add to your portfolio, that it actually tracks and shows you your price movement and everything, whereas the watch list doesn't account into that. So that was a long way to say we want to work towards some kind of read-only mode functionality like that, where it's like, yeah, we support EVM chains, and if you just put your address in there, you can see all your tokens across the different EVMs.
But your wallet might not be accessible necessarily there, but you're saying have a front end where you can actually see all of your stuff just as an additional bonus.
Yeah, if it's your wallet, so that would be the beautiful thing about what we're doing is you'll be able to access those tokens. If not the watch only, right? You can't just go put a whale's freaking address in there and access their tokens. But if you actually are the owner of those tokens or of that address, you'll be able to interact with it, but you'll also be able to cleanly see your portfolio across all your profiles. We haven't gotten there yet, but that is something we feel very like passionate about, because like that's the only reason I use Zerion. I don't use it for any other reason other than their watch only, because it's that clean. So
when you say watch only, is that kind of like how I was describing it? So with the Coinbase wallet, it comes up and the interface is just like, okay, so BTC, you have Lightning, you have these other things on there, and Ethereum or whatever the case is, and it just pulls up right in the front. Is that what you mean by when you say watch only?
Yeah. Well, on Coinbase wallet, that's propagating your portfolio, because those are probably the keys that you have stored there. I don't know if that the commerce wallet has the feature, but like there is read only, which is different. That it's what you're saying, yes, but you can extend it beyond that and watch other people's addresses too.
Do you see, you know how like one of the big, in my opinion, I think one of the big issues with crypto is interoperability right now. And I think that in the next 12 to 24 months, we're going to solve that. Do you think that at the wallet level is where it's going to be solved? Where we are attracted to cool shit that we can do with our tokens that we want. And if I don't need to necessarily know what's going on in terms of Google's AI as soon as I press, what is this restaurant near me? Right? I just type that into Google and the fucking Google does its shit. And then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, hey, I want to connect to Matic, or I want to connect to Sovereign, or like any dApp of any sort on any network, the wallet does it automatically for them in the background, where you just go there and okay, cool, you're connected to that. Where is there something I'm missing there? Because that seems like it could solve like interoperability and you could still maintain self-custody.
That's a really cool idea. Some kind of logic that like, okay, just using an example, like if I go to Sushi Swap, right? They support a few EVMs. So all I have to do is, well, I guess still you can still accomplish that, but on Sushi Swap you have to define. Well, I guess maybe you could define it on Sushi Swap, like, hey, Binance is the chain I want to, and then I click connect, and then my wallet's going to recognize that Sushi Swap is trying to connect to Binance, for example, and automatically make my wallet switch over to Binance. I mean, that I don't know. I'll have to talk to the devs about that one, but that is a cool idea, right? Like,
I have a
hear exactly
feeling
what
by
you're
the
saying.
end of
Yeah,
the year, every single chain will be 100% interoperable. By the end of the year, like, so I don't know if would that be on the DEX level, or what Sam's kind of saying, could that be on the wallet level too? Like, how are they going to work it in, and how can they make it trustless and peer to peer and no middleman?
Do you think though it almost has to be at the lowest level, like of the user, of the wallet, in one sense? I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in this, but I'm just thinking, and I like to think I'm thinking logically that if you want to solve interoperability, what does that mean, right? And that means at the user level, they don't, like, trying to have my mom get into crypto. That's just not going to happen, right? Because there's fucking 1,000 steps in there. But if it was just you download this app, right, and you can transfer money into the app from like fiat to now be in crypto, and it's self-custody just like that, and then you want to do something in Binance, cool. You just use the same. It's the same kind of thing. Think of like a super app. You know those ones in China where you do everything inside the app, right? You can buy food. You can also order a cab. You can also pay your bills. You can do your banking. You can do your messaging all within the same exact app. Think of like that, but it's self-custody inside of there, where you want to do something on BSC. Cool. You can also just do it all through the wallet. You want to do something on the other side? Cool. It doesn't matter where you go. You have this one wallet that just allows you to do whatever it is that you want to be able to do. And then not necessarily solved all the issues, because then you're like, okay, well, what are the semantics behind it? Maybe it's just like the pretty picture you're painting. How does that get accomplished? I have no effing idea. What does IM mean launching when you say it's launching on Ethereum, right? Because
how do they access their airdrop if they did have coins on the other side? Because I'm assuming there's some guys in there that don't want to ask that question, or might have already asked.
Well, what was the question, GRC?
So I know that you said they get a 1-for-1 airdrop, right? Now, is that easy to access for them? Is that just going to be as simple as it showing up and them having to move over to Ethereum?
Yes, and I'll speak to that, but Sam, I also do want to speak to your point, because you're bringing up a very important point there. But for the airdrop, yes, we go above and beyond, right? We could have done a Merkle tree and made the users pay the gas and made the users claim, and oh yeah, that would have been nice. But you know what we did? We took a snapshot and we airdropped it right to your wallet. We did everything. All you have to do is import the contract address, and you got that. That's it. That's all you got to do. We couldn't have made it any easier. So that's
Fantastic.
how I feel it should be.
I
So
agree. I agree.
as for the bridging and the wallet question, so the tricky thing about interoperability is, yes, I believe that there is no reality in other than a multi-chain world, unless, right, this is where, when you get into philosophy, you got to go to the extremes of the thought experiments. Maybe we have some totalitarian government that's shoving a gun in my face and saying, use my chain or I'll kill your family. Okay, maybe that reality, we don't have a multi-chain, but barring something like that, we're going to have a multi-chain reality. So then, like you said, the question becomes, how do they all talk to each other? Well, I don't know. At least I'm not aware of the technology that exists right now that can just natively support all chains, or even EVMs, because when you, like, even if you have a bridge, right? Because a bridge and the wallet are the things that are going to make it possible as of now. Well, it's like, okay, there's, I don't even know, 50, 100, there's new EVM chains popping up every single day. So you still have to go in there and tell the technology, here are the settings, this thing, talk to this thing. And so unless we can maybe build some technology that's like EVM chain, auto detection, auto integration, we're still going to have to continue to build those bridges. But then that's where the wallet really comes into play. So the bridge is like the back end, which like the average user is not going to care about. They just want a clean UI, and that's the wallet. So it's like they're partners, I guess, basically in that success.
Because that stuff could, I mean, like, at some point, you're not going to have 5 different wallets to have access to all my shit necessarily.
Right.
Like, that just seems like a cumbersome process that users to get to from where we're at to 500 million to multiple billions of people in crypto. That thing needs to be solved or made easier for the user to like take self-custody, but also have money on 3 or 4 or 5 different chains without having to deal with 3 or 4 or 5 different seeds, different software. Just like, hey, this is the interface I like. This is the interface that's decentralized. They protect my privacy, et cetera, and that's what I want to support. But I also want it to be easy to use. And then there's the bridge piece of it, right? But I also think that bridges has some very, I don't know when, but very soon, I feel like there's going to be a lot more trustless bridges where you're just trusting the smart contract. And I think that we're in the works of that. And I think that maybe in 2023 it's solved. I think there's Sovereign is a side chain next to like Bitcoin, which that I haven't looked into the details of it, but they said they have solved that piece of it. So now that's going to start proliferating to other people as if they have truly solved it, right? They're going to copy that or like, the good portions of it or improve upon it to have this trustless bridge that is out there. And then the user doesn't even need to see that necessarily, understand, okay, cool, you're going to charge $3 to do this thing, but like they don't need to see that. So you could show up at Uniswap or show up somewhere to do something and it's just all done and you're coming from Matic and it's just all done in the background for you. And you see, okay, cool, this is what the fee is to do this. And it's automatically done in the background. You don't have to switch your wallet. You don't have to switch to go to this bridge to convert to this, then come over here to do this thing. You know what I mean? In that process. I don't know. My thoughts on it. It's very early in this stage. And I think we're going to see a lot more development, especially from people like you and your dad who are putting together some very cool stuff.
And then the atomic cross swaps, which, people have been mentioning for a long time. And from just in an atomic cross swap, I just put the definition here. What is an atomic cross swap? An atomic swap is an exchange of cryptocurrencies from separate blockchains. The swap is conducted between 2 entities without a third party's involvement. The idea is to remove centralized intermediaries like regulated exchanges and give a token owner total control. And
Exactly
people
what
have
Sam
been
was
talking about
saying.
this for a long time. Yeah, that technology seems like it's been, and I think some people have the technology, but it probably takes a lot of money and like workload and devs to get all these things working with different
Well,
code
here-
languages and stuff.
Well, here's the problem with that. So, Sam, I agree with everything you're saying. And look, I'm shouting out my competitors today, but a really cool wallet that actually does a lot of what you're saying is a wallet called SafePal. Now, they have a lot of that, like multi-chain, one seed, get all, Bitcoin, Cardano, all those things. And I think that is probably ultimately the future that a wallet needs to achieve in order to do what you're saying. And that is a future we want to work towards. But I just think where I'm seeing a lot of wallets go wrong right now, we're seeing a lot of wallets go wrong, is right from the get-go. They have everything. And so they don't have any cool features for any of it. But you can have all your tokens there, but like that's all you can do really. But where with the atomic swap, where it becomes a problem is chains that don't have smart contracts. Because how do you no middleman a thing that you can't program logic into? So like Bitcoin, how are you going to atomic swap Bitcoin? You can't write a smart contract on Bitcoin. You literally have to give it to somebody to mint you the wrap Bitcoin on the other side, because the technology on the Bitcoin side doesn't exist. So, it's the atomic swap is like that. That's why the smart contract model, and I know Bitcoin has the side chain. I'm blanking the name, and apparently they're doing smart contracts. They're trying to, so maybe that solves the problem. But for the non-smart contract chains, whether they're EVM or not, there's a whole nother problem that exists there.
It's on a tangent. We just talked to somebody the other day. This video will probably be out in a couple of days. There's a project that has solved the trilemma, in this sense that the trilemma is decentralization, security, and scalability. And this was put forth by Vitalik in a paper a number of years ago, and then people just took that as fact. But the reason there is a trilemma is because the design of the system. If you take a motorcycle, you can't carry 4 people in that necessarily, because of the design of it's a bike. It's not designed for 4 people, right? So you have that issue because the design of it was in a certain way. But you can design something differently where you don't have to deal with the same trade-offs that everybody believes you need to with an EVM. And I thought I was like, oh, that's very interesting. But we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. With
I like that rabbit hole. Let's go rabbit hole.
And I just wanted to pull this up because we had Grant on the other day, and Grant works. He does a bunch of things, but he doesn't work for the Chia team, but he works with the Chia. He works on Chia stuff, separate companies. But cross-chain offers, aka atomic swaps from Bitcoin to XCH, are close to completion. Look for
what
this.
What is XCH?
That's Chia.
Chia network.
Oh, XCH is Chia. Got it.
Yeah, that's the native token. So, and we had him on, and I was trying to pick his brain about this, but again, and then you can see it here, 1XCH 0.002 BTC. And then, then there's liquidity stuff with that too. Like you're going to have liquidity at some point, and someone's going to have to be putting in some work there. So I don't really understand how all this is going to work, but I'm just really praying all these smart guys to just make it happen for me.
See, so look on Chia. Look, I'm still learning about it. So any Chia fans out there, if I say something dumb, please don't lament me. I'm a novice to Chia. But I understand there is some smart contract functionality there. It's not an EVM. So I still think that they may still have a middleman there of some kind. Because, again, unless they're using a Bitcoin sidechain, I'm not aware. I mean, maybe they invented the technology, but I don't, just even logically, I don't know how the technology would exist. Like, you can't put Bitcoin in a smart contract unless there's that side chain. So unless they're routing through maybe I don't know enough, but unless they're routing through some side chain, like you can't just put native Bitcoin on Bitcoin into a smart contract. It's like blocked. It's like technology blocked in a way.
So like actually taking Bitcoin, unless there is something like a side chain or something, or like a layer 2 type solution where you take the Bitcoin and then lock that into a separate contract piece of things. There's this RSK sidechain for Bitcoin that has Sovereign is built on it that allows, like, you know how we have like liquidity or liquid loans is going to be on Pulse, or Aave and Fiat, right? Or there's probably, or something like DAI, right? Where you have three separate protocols. You could say they're all DeFi, right? Liquidity, you got loans and stuff and borrowing. You have Aave, which is also a form of borrowing. You have DAI, which is the minting of stable coins in a DeFi realm, right? Well, these are all getting built around Bitcoin, where there's the side chain, which uses like merge mining. So you basically get to use the hash rate from Bitcoin miners to secure the network, and then to wrap in the Bitcoin to be able to use on all of these things. And it keep coming back to this idea of like that super app, but instead of it being controlled by one entity, where all of the, you know, economics flows down to one person or one centralized thing, like a decentralized platform. But instead of having be Aave over here and DAI over there and this thing over there, it is brought together in a way that, because what is capital going to do over time? Capital is going to centralize, right? Capital is going to want to be efficient by centralizing itself. We've seen it over and over and over and over again, and it's going to continue. So I'm like, that's an interesting take, because if you brought in the best from all these different places, you can do margin stuff like the famous thing that Buck is doing, right? Bring in margin stuff over there in a decentralized way, you know, immutable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's structured in an intelligent way, and have one platform. You can mint stable coins. You can go through, you can do zero APY loans, right? You can do all these different pieces together into, I'm sure this is complex, and I'm sure that it requires a lot of, skill to put this together. But I see the vision of this being, because by bringing all this capital together in one place, I'm sure that there's other benefits that I'm not seeing, or that I'm not like recognizing. Because when you're on the top of the mountain, or you get a better view of the surrounding than at the location I'm at right now, right? And so, like, as you went through and build this, just like with what you're doing with the wallet, as you get through and you get out so that it's live and launched, you're going to be like, oh wow, look at these other cool things that we didn't realize.
Exactly.
On there. When are you guys actually launching?
Wallet exists now. You can download it on Android, iOS, and Chrome. We are in, I might have lost you. Oh, there you go. We are in beta version 1. So by the end of Q1 of this year, we're working towards a beta V2, which will have our dividend token live on mainnet, on Binance, Ethereum, and Pulse Chain, if Pulse Chain is here. Also, the tokens will all be security audited. We will release those audits. We actually went through round 1 security audits on all of our tokens of the wallet itself. There's some cleaning up there's new features and stuff we're adding. So inevitably it has to be re-security audited. That's the beauty of the security audit process, is they show you some inefficiencies. We found bugs from beta testing. I'm so glad we went this longer beta route. So V2 will launch, beta V2 will launch with WD, the dividends on mainnet, and we'll release all the security audits for the wallet itself included. Because right now we've been telling people, hey, don't really put your money there. We're testing. We're just testing. But beta V2 is going to be, hey, KG personally is moving his key storage to the Internet Money wallet. Like that's when we're really going to start saying, hey, this wallet you can use it like your real wallet now. And then working towards V1, there's just a few more features we want to add. And then we would get it re-security audited again. And then, we'd be in V1. So beta V2 is kind of like a V1 with like a little asterisk. So that's why we just went beta V2 instead of going full V1. first.
And the stuff that we hear from Richard Hire is that it's very challenging to do the software stuff. So like the time frame is dynamic. Like it's not necessarily probably going to. Could it be like this quarter? Could it be this quarter where it definitely comes out, or is it possible where shit comes up and it's not actually out this quarter?
So the thing, it'll most likely launch this quarter, and the reason we're confident in that is, he's right. Software is very hard, and it's also hard not only from, hey, you're like doing brand new things. It's also hard from like every little, I don't even want to rabbit hole. I mean, I can if you want, but like every little decision, every tiny decisions that people who interact with the project you're not even considering can be a week of philosophical discussion before you even try to go onto technological implementation. It's literally just like, well, do we want to do that? Okay, why? Here's the problems if we go this way. Well, if there's this problem when we go, it's like literally hours and hours and hours of thought experiments. And that in a lot of time is the hardest part. And I can't even imagine all the decisions Richard has to make on Pulse Chain. I just can't even begin to imagine all those. They've probably, like, if they developed for 2 years, they probably had philosophical discussions for a year and 9 months. I mean, it's like, that's just a joke, but like, I mean, there's a lot that goes into. There's a lot that goes into this.
This stuff is crazy, and it really does inspire me that I can change my, not my workload to be a dev or anything, but like, I'm like, man, guys are really putting in work, and a lot of it is here. You have to think about all the downstream effects of all these things and what the future will look like, constantly changing, constantly the world is evolving. Next thing you know, there's atomic cross swaps to every single chain and every platform, and you have to think about how the users will react generally rather than like what the 10-year time frame will look like. So there's so much that goes into this, and most of it goes over my head for the most part, but I just try to stick and stay and support everyone and keep going and stay in the now. And about Pulse Chain, you guys just launched on. So when Pulse Chain comes out, is it going to be a similar experience, like as far as a one-to-one airdrop? Or I can't remember. Did you guys do a specific sacrifice for Pulse Chain? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I will dive into both of those. I just wanted to round off the point of, with deadlines, I don't think software deadlines are impossible, like we've been led to believe, just in general. There's sure some of them maybe, but like in general, you have what's called a discovery phase with your dev team, and you make a game plan. And whenever we make a software announcement, like a deadline announcement, it's usually like 2x the time we actually think it's going to take. So it's like, it's like internally when we're like, hey, it's 4 months out, we're thinking, all right, guys, we could probably get this done in a month and a half, right? And then so like it gives you a ton of lead time. And then if you're halfway through, you're like, all right, so this is going to take longer. Then you can even give ample notice as to the deadline being pushed back because you gave yourself so much lead time. So I think so much of software being hard from the project team is expectation management. Just like manage the expectations to your community of, again, over or under promise, over deliver. Like we fully abide by that model. So, when we say, end of Q1, I'm feeling pretty confident in that because we've overestimated,
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So then he was asking you about Pulse and go ahead.
Yeah.
What was your question on that? Or if you remember what
I just wanted to make sure that everyone that was in this experience kind of knows what to look for when Pulse Chain launches at some point and how you're interacting with that. And is it similar to the Ethereum launch that you guys just did?
It's a little different because on Pulse Chain, the system state of Ethereum is being forked. And so it's automatically going to bring the tokens over and the contracts over, and we don't have to do anything with an asterisk. So for those that are familiar with the Pulse Chain ecosystem, you know that there's this little guy in the system called the AMM Fixer bot. And that is going to benefit some liquidity pools, but not all. And we don't know what the criteria for the liquidity pools that it's going to interact with. So if for whatever reason we're not favored, or the fork from Ethereum to Pulse Chain doesn't treat IM well, then we have a backup plan. Now, we hope that it does, because ideally, in the true spirit of Pulse Chain, we would love to support our copied token. We'd love to pump life into it. We would love to make our free airdrop over there for everybody real and vibrant. But we're also not going to let our community get wrecked. So if whatever happens in the fork, because there's so much mystery around what's going to happen to fork tokens. Okay, what happens? Is the AMM bot going to favor you? What exactly happens if it does favor you? What happens after it harvests your pool? There's just so many layers and degrees of mystery that it's like you can't make a solid formulated game plan. So if we're favored well, we'll honor the native copy. But if not, we will do a similar airdrop like we did from BSC to Ethereum. We will relaunch.
What do you mean favored well?
Well, there's going to be, arguably, there's going to be, so when the Pulse Chain fork happens, it's copying all smart contracts, including Uniswap. And then the AMM fixer bot is going to go in there and it's going to buy up those pools on the Uniswap and other decks. We don't know exactly what decks, but we know Uniswap, and that's why I'm using that one. It's going to go in there and buy the pools off of Uniswap. And what that means for people is it's just going to drop a bunch of pulse in those pools at a specific ratio to get those tokens. So the AMM fixer bot becomes a mega whale in all these projects. The AMM fixer bot is most likely going to be the number one whale in every single project that it harvests. Everyone. Now, we don't know which projects it's going to do that. We can assume like Link and Hex, right? You can assume some by nature of them just being established. But then are they going to harvest 10% of projects, 80%, 100%? Are they going to harvest IM? We have no idea. So then if they do, there's degrees of mystery as to what happens with those harvested tokens. And if they don't, there's degrees of mystery as to what happens with the non-harvested IM pool. So either branch, there's degrees of mystery. And so if it plays out well, and whether we get harvested or not, if it plays out well, because look, here's a reality where we don't get harvested and it plays out bad. So when the liquidity pool gets copied, there's like 800 billion IM in the liquidity pool right now, and like 15 ETH or something. So when that gets copied over, that's going to be 800 billion IM and 15 pulse. So that means somebody could go in there for like 20 pulse and become a mega whale in the IM ecosystem, which would be bad and devalue everybody else. So we don't know exactly. We don't know if it's going to be good or bad. We have no idea.
Lots of mystery with the pulse.
With the AMM bot. I remember Richard saying that they can't get it to work on V3. So he said it's in multiple streams a year plus ago, I believe it was. What is your understanding of how this is going to work? So in harvesting liquidity, right? Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, well, so if you have A and B assets in the pool, and let's assume A is the native token of Ethereum or something, and you have maybe 75 pairs, 197 pairs, whatever the number is that is paired with A, is it just going to be going and buying up which side of that, right? Is it go? So say I am an Ethereum, right? So, and now it's on Pulse. So we have Pulse Internet Money and Pulse Ethereum. Is it? It's going to go just.
It would just be just Pulse, not Pulse Ethereum.
But they're gonna actually change the code, so it will be just it's not going to say Ethereum anymore.
That is my understanding, is that Ethereum becomes Pulse.
Okay.
The Ether native token will just be Pulse, and then on the Pulse chain. Right?
Okay. And then, so how is your interpretation of that going to work? So now, if it is Pulse, right, then it would be Pulse and Internet Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go through and buy up Internet Money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it was, say, pairs between, say, internet money and hex, what that there those type of pairs? Well, obviously we don't know. This is just a thought experiment, right? But like, so any other pair, is it just? What are your thoughts on like the AMM bot? Is it going to just buy up the other half of all the ETH pairs? Is it going to buy up the other half of US dollar USDC pairs because USDC is going to zero? Is it, what about the pairs that are interlinking, right? So say internet money and hex, right? What happens in those? And obviously you don't know, but I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on that.
What we think is gonna, oh hey, you're welcome, glad to help. What we think is going to happen is it's only going to harvest the Ethereum pairs because, well, I don't even know, because that's what we think is going to happen. And so there was,
because the ratio, it's 1,000,000 to 1, right? Or something like that.
Right. Yes. You're right. Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So we actually were having some, like, this is not my idea. I won't take credit for this idea. Back in the Telegram days, there was some talk about, well, what's going to happen to Hex? Because Hex's main pair is USDC, not ETH. So something that I've seen recently, and it's complete speculation, conspiracy theory, whatever. I'm starting to see a transition where ETH is becoming a stronger pair in the Hex liquidity pool. So I'm curious if there's some, like, buying on the USD or selling on the USDC side and rebuying on the ETH side slowly over time, because that was actually a problem. Is Hex had so much, it was like 80% USDC or something at one point. It was just like, well, the fixer bot is, we're going to harvest 20% of Hex and then 80% is just going to be like dead and wrecked. So yeah, I forgot where we were at in that rabbit hole.
You were getting into it, like I know you didn't have any sleep, so this is
it's all good. No, I love it. I'm waking up.
The A and B pairs, like, so USDC and Hex, right? Is you think that it's going to buy up the Hex side of things?
We don't know, because here's the thing. So, okay, let's say in the Hex USDC example. So the cool thing about the fixer bot is theoretically and arguably it's owned by the same entity that created the thing, the Pulse chain.
100%.
So it created out of existence or into existence Pulse. It's not going to create into existence USDC. So if it wanted to AMM fixer bot all this USDC pairs, it would have to acquire USDC. So how would it do that? I guess it would have to go and how would it do that? It has unlimited Pulse for all intents and purposes. Not factually, but for the purpose of what it's trying to accomplish, it has unlimited Pulse. It can't say the same thing for any other pair because it's a player like we are. But now with
Pulse. Yeah. Well, if I'm just thinking this out loud based upon what you said, and I think that's a super interesting point. So let's take a look at the USDC and Ethereum pair. And if there's 1.2 million Ethereum there, now it's going to be one Pulse, correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
No, it would be 1.2 million ETH times 1,000 Pulse.
Pulse.
Yeah. So they'd have to. The ratio I believe that we're going by at this point is it puts 1,000x on the Ethereum side in the form of Pulse, and then there is a factor, which on the other side it divides it by 1,000. I'm not, which then that's where you get your million from. So I don't want to sit here and pretend like I know exactly how that plays out, though.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting because there's going to be so many pairs that are off, and I think that, like, watching POW and Ethereum Fair launch and recognizing that, like, you can the marketing idea of the biggest airdrop in history is just marketing, because 97% of the shit's garbage and is not going to work, right? So that I think the idea behind what the AMM does potentially has changed, because before, things like maybe Link or other things might have worked, but now they're not going to. The idea was they might have worked, or the what people believed was these coins are gonna, you get a free copy of them, and without recognizing that we just had a preview with less marketing, POW, and Ethereum Fair, and 97% of the shit is garbage and doesn't work, right? So now the AMM, what it would have done prior to the merge, now post merge, I think may be changing because of that. Please go ahead.
No, and I have a theory here as well. So I think in a lot of ways, in the moment, it was maybe, and I took this position a little bit. I was like, we lost the world's largest airdrop narrative, but I think that it's net positive because we got to see 2 practice rounds, right? So just like you said, we were able to improve the system and not in a test net, because yeah, people play with the test net, but like no one plays with the test net like they play with real money. So we got to see two real world test nets that our community didn't have to like be at the making of. Now, the theory of, okay, so there's one more layer to this mystery, and I think I've ran through the thought experiment, and I think this is what's going to happen. All right, could be wrong. It's fine. But if I'm right, please clip me, because I would love to have a KG was right video. That'd be cool. Is the liquidity gets harvested, and for all those listening, that's a really fancy way to say it gets bought. All right, it just gets bought. Now you have AMM bot Mega Whale. What does it do? Well, it's got a lot of pulse and it's got an empty DEX. Does it become mega liquidity provider on PulseX with all those tokens it just bought? I think probably, because PulseX is a dead empty market. Now we copied all these tokens. What does it do? We copied the tokens. We bought the tokens. Now we have a native DEX. I think the only reality is and this could explain why Entity came in at the end of the Pulse chain sacrifice and bought up a bunch of Pulse. It's going to take a lot of Pulse to do the AMM bot, and it's going to take a lot of Pulse to provide liquidity on PulseX for those harvested tokens. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's it. That is a very interesting, because
maybe I can get some of the Pulse chain, crowd to come on here and talk about that AMM bot a little bit more in specifics. Although I don't think anyone knows exactly everything about it. I think there's some people that have been, covering that KDP, Walrus, a couple of these guys that are really in the now to talk about that AMM fixer bot, because I think that's really important. And I think that I have been skipping over that quite a bit just because I have no clue.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to just touch on before we go? And there's one thing I would like to touch on just really quick. Guys, I know everyone gets excited and everyone that has a bag of Hex starts tweeting about Hex, but it's also important to look at the data sometimes. So if you see this giant red dilly right here, that would be on February 14th. 2.28 billion Hex will be unstaked. Right. So the cool thing about Hex, and this is something I talk about all the time, is that most of it, or almost all of it, as far as I'm concerned, is on chain. And I can't remember what Hex.vision would be the website where you can see this. And if you go here, you have a complete list of every end stake that's coming out with a giant dilly to show exactly when. Now, I don't know exactly which address this is and whether it's a benevolent address or one of the daughter addresses or something like this. But it's important to remember, guys, there is data on all this stuff. It's not all just, the price is pumping, let's go. So remember, people have strategies, and there's the guys with a lot of money that have really intense strategies. So I think it's important to remember just to be careful. That doesn't mean this could turn around and be the best thing that ever happened, restake for another year, whatever it is. But at the same time, remember, before you put all of your money into something just because you get excited, to just take a step back and to think about it, because CPI 214. CPI data comes out the exact day that this state comes out. This could be a buck wick. This could be a buck from Famous Wick. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But just remember, guys, there is a lot of data on this stuff, and people get really excited, and then they start, thinking, it's time to go all in. It's never going to turn around. But the strategy is always to stay focused into DCA. That's what I've been trying to do over the last year, whether that's Hedron, Icosa, just little by little, guys, $300 here, $500 here. And I feel very comfortable in the position that I'm in now. But if I had none of that and I did all the buy today, I would feel very uncomfortable. So I just want everyone to be safe as we go forward, because, you know, we could be talking about 6-8 months still sideways down. You never know, but I think it's important to note that and just to be careful. Is there anything you want to round out about internet money, where people can find you? And I'll drop all the links below. And anything else like that you're getting into that you would like to share with the crowd, maybe the newer guys? And Sam, any questions you have for KG before we go?
No, I share any updates you'd like to share, please, with the community, and then how can people get a hold of you or reach out and be part of the community?
Sure. Just, you know, retouching on those updates from the beginning. We just launched I Am on Ethereum. We just got listed on CoinGecko. We applied for CoinMarketCap at the same time, so I'm feeling hopeful about that. You know, we got listed on our first exchange. We're on TradingView. We are continuing to take steps towards becoming a realer and more realer, in the sense that realer project. We're in beta of the wallet on Android, iOS, and Chrome. You can download it right now at internetmoney.io. We're working towards beta V2, which will have our dividend token, which will complete our token launch up to this point of everything we said we were going to launch, you know, minus Pulse Chain, but waiting on Pulse Chain. And so that will fulfill both of our sacrifices that we had. And we'll be security audited, which is awesome. I love that. Such a good, clean feeling. Helps me sleep at night. Still going to take security steps, but it just feels good to be past that first step. And yeah, I think the best place to interact with us is at our Telegram. It's just at Internet Money IO. Our Twitter, Telegram, Reddit, everything's at Internet Money IO. So if you go to internetmoney.io, join the community. We're doing voice chats. We're messaging all day. Like, we're a very active community. So all the stuff we talked about, whether it's Pulse Chain, whether it's wallets, that's the beauty of being a wallet project, is we just talk about crypto. So we're talking about everything in there. So if you want to learn, if you want to share knowledge, join the Telegram.
Thank you. I always enjoy our conversations, KG. I appreciate what you and your dad and the team are putting together. I'm looking forward to a lot of future success and innovation from you guys.
I'm just happy to be here covering it with you boys. Meeting you in real life was a pleasure, and meeting your wife in real life, it was nice to see. You know me, I'm a people person. I like to meet someone and then see. That's where I get my general feelings from about their intentions. And I met KG in Vegas, and we had such a great time, and you were so friendly and so open, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I want to support you in any way I can. You know, everyone knows I've been going through a little sauce over the last 2 weeks, so my brain's a little bit all over the place. But this is not for me necessarily. This is for the people in the chat and for everyone in crypto that's in here so early. With the dynamics of all these things, we are in the infancy of crypto. Infancy. Like, imagine little baby GRC. I wasn't being able to lift too many weights back then. I couldn't make a good thumbnail back then. I couldn't make super fun rooster jokes as quickly as I can today. And I appreciate you guys so much. And for everyone in there, if you're struggling with anything, just keep moving forward. Keep writing down your goals, and everyone's confused about a lot of these concepts. These guys are about as smart and, well, I don't want to say it's smart, but these guys go hard, very hard. Okay. So if you feel like, oh my God, these guys are talking and I'm just a pleb and I don't know anything about life, I tell Sam that every day. And he's like, keep writing down your goals, keep pushing forward, keep doing the little things. That's how you get ahead. If pointing and staring at what everyone else is doing will not get you ahead. You got to believe in yourself. You have to ask for help, and you have to continue to move forward. Everyone's going to come at you if you're doing anything right. So just continue to move forward. And I am so excited for the premier DEX of this world to be Internet Money. And what a name. I mean, what a name, Internet Money. Sam, what was the name of your first cryptocurrency that you ever thought of when you were a kid? Remember you said, well, maybe it wasn't crypto, but you said like the Sam.
Yeah, Sam. I went back in 2011. I want to create my own currency and create my own, country. And I call it Sam's. There's a picture of me online, like somebody made it of me doing, Sam's as that's the currency. And today I can actually do something like that. So it's pretty exciting.
And today we get to talk to guys every single day that are literally changing the space when it comes to literal currency. It's such a blessing to be here right now. And if you don't always understand everything, welcome to the club, guys. It's just, we just want to keep moving forward, keep trying our best, and keep supporting the guys that are putting in that work. All right. So everyone, Crypto in the Mornings live every single day. Do me a favor. Do me a favor and hit that, smash that likey poo and smash that belly poo and go over to Twitter and follow these guys, Sam Stowe, and I'll drop the links when the song's going on. I hope you guys both have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. In the
Appreciate you.
Get some sleep. Later, guys.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on pause. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on pause. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stay. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Gym ready, send me to show you the way.